Happy New Year. We ended it with not really what I can say is a bang, more or less. What I can say is something that cherishes that entire year into one little vlog that I hold dear to my heart. But I can't say for definite that I reserved enough time in order to make other videos that really just cherishes not just the year, but the decade itself. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. But I don't know, I used up all my energy for that last video, so guess what I can do for this video, because it's going to take a hell of a long time to rate my top 10 albums of the decade. There has been a lot of stuff that I've listened to, and quite frankly, my musical tastes have evolved throughout the entire decade, because I've gotten older now. Nevertheless, I can show you what I've been flicking through on my Spotify and give you a bit of a brief noting of each band and what they've held for me. So, thank you very much, band. Conjurer Maya. Saw them at Download this year, thought they ripped really hard. Wish I put them in my 2018 top albums, and I feel really bad about that. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life, so please don't hurt me. Well, for my Valentine Fever, bit of a controversial one because I was in sixth form. Not that that was the controversial part. This was the same band who made Poison and Screaming Fire, but Fever still held up pretty high for me in those regards. I preferred it to Screaming Fire, unpopular opinion. Blah. Arctic Monkeys AM. I ignored a lot of this genre because I was mostly a metalhead and a hard rocker head. Didn't want to get out of my bubble until I started listening to more chilled music. I had a jazz playlist to help me revise. And if you want something nice and memorable to listen to, then this is the one for you. Arch Enemy War Eternal. They had two smashing albums this decade. I slightly prefer this one because I just like it better. Good reason. And it has a song like Down to Nothing, which takes me back to the days of, what's that song called? Come on. Nemesis. Good. Awesome. Anthrax For All Kings. If you listen to the discography of Anthrax, you'll see that it's a bit weird because a lot of their stuff is not the same as other stuff. I think they solidified what they wanted to do when Joey Belladonna came back, so can't fault it enough. Or too much. Or at all. Thy Art Is Murder, Dear Desolation. This was pretty much the gateway for death-related genre to me, and pretty much a solid album from start to finish. Sum 41, 13 Voices. As much as I like Order in Decline, I thought 13 Voices had a lot more good songs. And when I had no car when I was up in Andover, this was the song that was pretty much on replay the whole time to help me get through that hour-long walk. An hour! Stone Sour, House of Golden Bones, Part 2. Yeah, people usually prefer Part 1, but hell, I've listened to Part 2 more and more, and I just think this has more wacky turns for me. So, this is pretty much a staple of Stone Sour, where they should start off. Shadows Fall, Fire in the Sky. One of the main bands I was listening to when I was getting songs through LimeWire. Google song recommendations. Sorry, Tourette's. And it's sad to say that this is the last album before the band split up or went on hiatus or whatever. And it was so good. You had to stop it at such a high note. Blind Guardian, At the Edge of Time. Pretty much some of the only power metal I can tolerate. Sorry. This is why I did this during the middle of the video. I wanted to catch you off guard. A Voice in the Dark, Valkyries. Muy presto. Sabaton, Heroes. I like them singing about wars and stuff like that, and this is no exception. It has No Bullets Fly, therefore, right up in the sky. I mean, coincidentally, it's about a guy whose B-17 is falling. So. Rivers of Nihil, Where Owls Know My Name. I described this last year. New twist for me, new twist for you. A Home is such an epic song. The way they construct the album is epic. Do not say more than that, Kieran. Real Big Fish, Life Sucks So Let's Dance. Why do we have all this depressing metal music when we can have something where we can just dance off to and tell people in a very happy way that they pissed us off? That is Real Big Fish in a nutshell, and this album, while it's not anything different, is still solid Real Big Fish, and that is more than enough for me. Queens of the Stone Age, Villains. I do quite like the funky stuff like Red Hot Chili Peppers and bands like that, and Queens of the Stone Age with this album, they managed to get that all in one take. There's not a part in this album where I go, I hate you so much. Or if there was, it would be, I hate you so much for bopping my head up and down. North Lane, Singularity. This is where it all started, the up-and-comers. And Singularity makes no effort to try and bring that home. It just doesn't even try. Yeah, it can just do what it does. Muse, Drones. This is what got them headlining Download in 2015, and you can see why. It's just them bringing their early rock days back into their modern mix with a something-minute track of pure consistency. Megadeth, Dystopia. This feels like the Megadeth of old and new, and this is an album you wouldn't get tired of pretty soon. Martyr Defiled, Young Gods. I was on an epic quest on Spotify to look at what I hadn't discovered just yet, and then it hit me. I defiled all my martyrs, And all that creepy death metal stuff I hadn't feasted my eyes upon either. Or in this case, ears. Machine Head, Bloodstones and Diamonds. I mean, the Blackening came out before, so I have to pick this one. But, you know, it's got to be a bit better than the other one we don't speak about. Dear. Killswitch Engage Incarnate. They usually do very solid albums to begin with, but this really brought Jesse to the forefront, so I can't commend it enough for that. Lamb of God Resolution. This was the unpopular one that I had before, and I'm going to bring it back again to reinstate my point that I like this album very much. A new staple for Lamb of God, and one that is very effective. Ginger, Cloud Factory. I find myself listening to this one quite a bit. Heart of a Coward, Deliverance. Jamie left Silosis. I was sad, but Josh made it better. Then he joined Heart of a Coward. My heart was restored. I gained a new anti-life. Hacktivist, Outside the Box. Grime and Gent all in one. What more could you ask for, eh? Gold Key, Hello Phantom. Hello, soulful music. You have calmed my palpitational heart. No, we must not let this go on. Ghost, Meliora. Ghost. Meliora. Fight Star, Behind the Devil's Back. Probably one of the most underrated bands. Busted are not better than this band, I can assure you of that. Actually, I don't really need to assure you of that, it's just, you know, technically it's true. Funeral for a Friend, Conduit. A lot of their early stuff was more popular, but Conduit brought a breath of fresh air into the band, and sadly, not so long after that, they split up, so, you know, hopefully those charity gigs bring something new to the table. Who knows? Devin Townsend, Transcendence. I offer my light to this album. It's Devin Townsend in all his glory. I'm not pulling any punches with any track. Delane, Moonbathers. Symphonic metal plus quite heavy production equals a breath of success. Currents, The Place I Feel Safest. Really nice blend between gent and metalcore, and the EPs that have followed it have also been really great. Cane Hill, Too Far Gone. That new metal we really loved back in the 2000s, we're reviving it here. First heard it in WWE NXT, and now I'm hearing it on the album itself, and I couldn't be happier. Bring Me the Horizon, Sempiternal. Now we're getting there. I get what Bring Me the Horizon are trying to do in their later years, but Sempiternal just really set a high benchmark for what this band can do in terms of electronics and metalcore, and it delivers on both fronts. And it is also the start of where Ollie Sykes started to implement a lot more clean vocals. Bleed From Within, Era. Still, like I said last year, complete masterpiece. In every way, every riff is written, in every way the drum fills are implemented, and in every way Scott Kennedy roars through his voice. Behemoth, The Satanist. This has been at the top of almost everybody's list, and for good reason. It is insanely standing the test of time to a great degree. Amon Amarth, Jorm's Viking. A very solid band, but I think this is probably the most solid work to date. Raise Your Horns will always be an anthem for me. Alter Bridge, Fortress. It was between this and The Last Hero, but I think Fortress has the slighter edge. From the way the album flows to songs like Cry of Achilles, Pieces Broken, and especially Calm the Fire. Absolutely amazing song. Gojira, L'Enfant Sauvage. I think I've made my love for Gojira pretty clear throughout the years, and it's no exception with L'Enfant Sauvage. Possibly my favourite album by them in general. Sorry from Master Sirius, but it's just this album. It's got a lot of emotional segments in it, and some of the most impressive segments going all the way through. Iron Maiden, Book of Souls. Whether Iron Maiden play long songs or just smash hits, this album's got just almost all of it, and from the way the long songs are orchestrated, I just can't get enough of it. Architects, Holy Hell. There was a lot of emotional drive throughout this album, and it goes to show through all the emotions running through each song on the album. And A Wasted Hymn just closes it so well. They were so good when I saw them live. Mastodon, Emperor of Sand. Mastodon did their previous two albums that weren't conceptual, and then Emperor of Sand came in and brought it back, and the way they did it sounded like the modern Mastodon we know, plus a bit of a mix from the old one we loved as well. The single highlight for me on the album being Roots Remain. Silosis, Dormant Heart. Josh Middleton is such a phenomenal writer, and I'm not saying that just because I had a picture with him that one time, but this is just classic Silosis, and out of all the ways they've done their albums, this is just certainly the favourite one for me. And finally, the last one I've talked about, I'm saving best to last, without rating anything, without going through it very decisively and carefully. This album I'll just feel like I'll be listening to in 30 years, and that's Trivium, The Sin in the Sentence. You know, if you've seen all my vocal covers, that I've done like loads of these songs. And this is when you put years of hard work into one single album, and it goes to show. Recruiting Alex Bent was possibly one of the best things the band has ever done, and it goes to show on how progressive this album is. Matt Heafy revived his dormant harsh vocals. And this was just one of the first albums where I listened to each single song and I was just like, gotta play it again, gotta play it again, gotta play it again. So that is my albums of the decade. I would have made it a bit more thought through and more of an official top 10, but honestly, with all the other stuff I've got, I don't want to like put too much effort into like singular videos. I don't really want to say that, it sounds really corny. Do something unique with what I've got. I got stuff planned and that's all that matters, and well, let's not make any judgments now, we'll see when it comes out. So thank you for watching. Go ahead and follow me on social media such as Twitter, Facebook, etc. Just follow all the links in the description, and until next time, thank you, happy 2020, lights out.